killed as fuel tanker explodes along Abuja expressway. Federal government to meet labor unions over planned nationwide protest. And Russia opposition leader Alexei Navalny discharged after 3 weeks in Berlin hospital. A warm welcome to News Now. I am Omi Adekunle. We begin on a sad note as no fewer than 23 people have been confirmed dead after a petrol tanker exploded on a busy road in Kogi State. The incident happened on Wednesday morning around Filele area along the Abuja expressway. Witnesses say the tanker driver lost control and rammed into some vehicles and burst into flames. We'll bring you reports on that shortly in the bulletin. And in its bid to avert a planned strike action and protest against the recent increase in the cost of electricity and premium motor spirits, the federal government will be meeting with the Nigeria Labour Congress NLC and the Trade Union Congress TUC on Thursday. At the meeting scheduled to take place at the presidential villa by 3 p.m., the federal government is expected to unfold its palliative plans for Nigerians. Deputy Director, Press and Public Relations at the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment, Charles Akman, confirmed the planned meeting in a statement on Wednesday. Both parties had earlier met on Tuesday to address the issue, but the dialogue ended in a deadlock following the failure of the government to reverse the price increase or offer palliative to cushion the effects on the workers. Failure by the government to meet the demands of the labour group would mean a nationwide strike action on September 28. Meanwhile, President Buhari says his administration has commenced the distribution of palliatives worth 10.9 billion naira to households and micro, small and medium enterprises. He said this while delivering a speech via video message on the first day of the 75th session of the UN General Assembly. According to Buhari, the disbursement of the sum is part of efforts to reduce the suffering of Nigerians caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Buhari also restated his administration's commitment to working with other member states to promote the well-being of citizens. A federal high court in Abuja ruled that President Buhari acted in contravention of the law when he asked the National Assembly to screen and confirm 11 candidates for appointment as judges of the FCT High Court. Buhari had picked 11 names from among the 33 recommended to him in April this year by the National Judicial Council for appointment as FCT High Court judges. The judges were later sworn in by the Chief Justice of Nigeria after the Senate held that they had no role in the appointment of judges. The president's action was later challenged by an Abuja-based lawyer, Oladimeji Ekenga, who argued that it contravened provisions in Section 256, subsection 2 of the Nigerian Constitution. Ruling on the matter on Wednesday, Justice Inyang Eko agreed with the plaintiff that Buhari contravened provisions of the Constitution by forwarding the 11 names to the Senate, but ruled that the contravention of the law by Buhari did not affect the judge's inauguration. And still with the judiciary, as part of efforts to build a strong and formidable judiciary in Lagos State, the government has handed out 51 vehicles and 8 houses to judges. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, while handing over the houses and cars at the Ikeja High Court on Wednesday, pledged that no arm of government in the state will be deprived of requisite tools to perform its statutory duties. It would be the second time in a year Governor Sanwo-Olu would be giving out official vehicles to members of the state's judiciary. Last October, the governor gave out 50 official cars to magistrates to aid their duties. And let's now talk security. In a bid to destroy all criminal hideouts in the northeast and northwest, the federal government has approved the establishment of a military training base on the Falgore Forest. The forest, which has been identified as a breeding spot for bandits and other criminal elements, borders Kaduna, Bauchi, and Kano states. Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje, who confirmed the development, said the project will cost about 500 million naira. He said the government will also establish a Ruga settlement on some parts of the forest to house a dam and other facilities for nomadic herders.
our forests in Nigeria have been converted into the hideouts of criminals. So Falgore Forest, which is bordering Kaduna State, Bauchi State and Kano, we decided to establish a military training ground. We are spending over 500 million to provide auditorium, houses, dining hall, kitchen, shooting range, and many other amenities to enable military to train every month or continuously. The work is going on. Also, we are establishing a Luga settlement within Falgore Forest. We are constructing a dam, and then the nomadic Fulani, instead of traveling from one place to another, they will be put in one place, and we provide modern system of animal husbandry.
Yahya Sharif Aminu, a musician in Kano State who was sentenced to death for blasphemy, can appeal his judgment up to the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Kano State Governor Abdullahi Ganduje said this on Tuesday while briefing State House correspondents in Abuja after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari. He said that while the musician had appealed the judgment of the Sharia Council, the state was waiting for the decision of the court. Ganduje also revealed that President Buhari has been put on notice but refused to disclose the position of the president on the matter.
Pertaining to the issue of blasphemy committed by one young man, the young man who committed blasphemy, the house of his father was burned down, but immediately we arrested the situation. Security agencies were drafted, and the boy was arrested and secured. So everything is calm about that. He was taken to the Sharia court, and then a death penalty was passed on him. But he has the right to apply, to appeal, and he has already appealed. So that process is going on, and the appeal will continue up to the Supreme Court.
Nigerian medical doctor Tunji Funshaw has been named among Time's 100 most influential people globally in 2020. The medical expert was recognized for his essential role in ensuring Africa's certification as wild polio-free in August of 2020. In an article that announced Dr. Funshaw's recognition, Time said the Nigerian did more than any other person to drive polio to continent-wide extinction. Also featured on the list is Tony Elumelu, chairman of the United Bank for Africa, UBA PLC, who was honored for his year-long investment in African entrepreneurs. Well, let's take a break here, but still to come. Delta grants automatic promotion to primary school students as it joins list of states to approve reopening of schools after COVID-19 shutdown. More details after this break.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other Paper Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
On TV360, we don't just ask the questions.
What is wrong with amending the Constitution the way the National Assembly members have been doing it?
We seek answers.
Constitution is constituent. Our problem is not lack of laws. Our problem is lack of the willpower to implement our laws.
Answers that provide clarity.
While we negotiate, we should try to make it a point that the girls must be complete.
The clarity you need to make informed judgment so that you can make the right decision and take action.
People are saying it is you politicians that are responsible for this, that you are the reason why this is happening.
All these dullards that call themselves governors in this country.
I wish we had people like Tony at the National Assembly.
God forbid that I go to join that planet.
TV360, providing clarity to issues.
Glad to have you back. Now here is a reminder of our top stories tonight. No fewer than 23 people have been confirmed dead after a petrol tanker exploded on a busy road in Lokoja, Kogi State capital. The incident, which affected 4 other vehicles and a tricycle, was caused by a brake failure on the part of the tanker. In its bid to avert a planned strike action and protest against the recent increase in fuel and electricity tariff, the federal government will be meeting with the Nigerian Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress on Thursday. At the meeting scheduled to take place at the Presidential Villa by 3 p.m., the federal government is expected to unfold its palliative plans for Nigerians. A Nigerian medical doctor, Tunji Funshaw, has been named among Time's 100 most influential people globally in 2020. Dr. Funshaw was recognized for his essential role in ensuring Africa's certification as wild polio-free in August of 2020. Let's now shift focus to the COVID-19 pandemic. The total number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in Nigeria has risen to 57,613 after 176 new infections were reported on Tuesday. According to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC), the new cases were reported from 14 states of the Federation. Of the figure, Lagos had 73 cases, followed by Plateau with 50, and the FCT, which recorded 17 new infections. However, the death toll from the virus remains 1,100 after no death was recorded on Tuesday. Also, 48,836 infected persons have recovered and have been discharged across the country so far. Delta State Governor Ifeanyi Okowa has approved the reopening of primary and secondary schools in the state. Just like some other states, students will be resuming in batches starting from those in SS1, SS2, JS1 and JSS2 will resume on September 28th. Students in primary 4 and 5 will resume a week later on October 9th. In a statement released on Wednesday, the State Commissioner for Education, Patrick Uka, also revealed that the second-term examinations will be waived for pupils in primaries 1 to 3, while boarding students will resume on Sunday, September 27th. He added that the resumption for all nursery, pre-primary and kindergarten students have been deferred to January 2021. Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong has been explaining why the state at a point became the epicenter of the COVID-19 pandemic in Nigeria. Addressing journalists on Tuesday, Lalong attributed the surge to increased testing across the state. He, however, noted that the government, with support from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC), has been able to effectively manage the cases, ensuring no deaths so far.
The Epic Center went along with the level of testing. We have 3 testing centers in Plateau State, very big testing centers. And at the point, we were even testing up to 500 people in a day. So at the point, we now accumulated a capacity of almost 5,000 tests, but the results were not coming at the same time. So at the point, at that time when they were reeling out the results, you saw that spike in the number. But the result of the testing also helped us because we now knew areas of concentration. So by the time they brought out the 5,000 and they were bringing 1,000 or 2,000 at the same time, if you bring 2,000, of course, you have a higher number. So all of a sudden, with the intervention of NCDC, we now knew that it was heavily concentrated in 2 local governments. So we all put our attention on the 2 local governments. So that is why even with the heavy number of people, you won't see any death. We have not had any death. And then drastic reduction in even people that are supposed to be taken to isolation centers. We are able to address that by identifying areas where we see the concentration of the disease and also control the spread. So as we see now, most of the time when they bring out results, the results are far lower than what was done sometimes last month.
Let's take a break here, and when we return, we'll be bringing you news from the world of business. Don't go away. Welcome back. Now, before we bring you business news, let's take you back to our top story about the unfortunate tanker accident which occurred at Felele community in Kogi State today, where about 23 people have been confirmed dead. Find out more in this next report. This is the tanker which started the fire, completely burnt, while remains of burnt vehicles, motorcycles and books also litter the scene. Nearby shops and electric poles were also not spared in the damage. Sympathizers stormed the scene as rescue operatives tried to put out the fire that's left of the explosion. Eyewitnesses say the incident occurred around 8:30 a.m. when the tanker lost control and rammed into oncoming vehicles.
A trailer coming from around NMPC up there failed brake, and as we heard, it was trying to meander. So trying to find its way. So, and along the line, it fell down over here. And as it was trying to meander, it fell so many vehicles into the gutter, as you can see over there. And along the line, fire broke down, and the next thing, people started burning. A whole family has just perished here this morning. And unfortunately, students that were happy that they returned back to school after over 7 months of break, they all perished here this morning. Fire service could not be gotten in an incident that happened for over 30 minutes. Myself in particular, I called 112. It was not going through.
Men of the Federal Road Safety Corps conveyed the bodies of the victims to the mortuary, to the dismay of onlookers.
We were on the road when this happened, and we were on the scene of the crash immediately the incidents happened. It was only the fire that prevented our personnel and also other sympathizers to, offer help to the fire was big when it started. So, and it was beyond the control. And with the absence of the fire service engines, we could not do much until when the fire doused down, and then we went into action. So far, we counted 23 people lost their lives. As far as we know, there is only one child that survived the crash with a minor injury.
FICA also explained that rescue operations were hindered by some hoodlums in the community.
When we started the rescue operation, some hoodlums or thugs came in and started throwing stones at us and things like that, preventing us further from taking more quicker action on the matter. And that was what happened. But then we were able to get almost all the victims out of the place to the mortuary.
Kogi State Deputy Governor also visited the scene to commiserate with the residents.
His Excellency sends his deepest condolences to the families of those who have lost their lives. And whilst doing that, His Excellency is presently meeting with supposed to meet with the Federal Minister for Works and Housing, His Excellency Babatunde Rashid Fashola, on the best and quickest way to mitigate against these happenings in the future.
It is not the first time a tanker accident will be happening in this community, and like previous ones, residents of Felele did not see this coming. For them, this accident is one too many, and they are appealing to the government to come to their rescue.
We cannot stay for over 2 months without having a chaos here. In this Felele? Not up to 2 months. We cannot have up to 2 months without having accidents on this road. In fact, every time we have scores of deaths. This place is a highly populated area. Please, we are calling on the government to please do something about this road.
Onoja says the state is currently in talks with its federal counterparts to find lasting solution to the problem.
All these points, His Excellency would seek all the necessary approval and clearance to be able to fix it, especially at the Polytechnic, where we have students crossing every day, every hour across the federal highway. There is dearly a need for a pedestrian bridge, and that will be fixed.
In addition, the Kogi State government says it is working to clear up spaces to create mini fire stations to forestall a future occurrence. Adekunle, TV360, Nigeria. Sad day there in Kogi, and may the souls of the departed rest in peace. I'll now leave you with Fidelia Goncha, who's standing by for business news.
Thank you very much, Uni. Farmers will now be able to access fertilizer at a cheaper cost as President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday ordered a reduction of the cost of a bag of fertilizer to 5,000 naira. Jigawa State Governor Abubakar Badaru announced this after a meeting of the National Council on Food Security at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. He said the president gave the orders to ensure that farmers are able to access the commodity, which has been very scarce in recent times, with prices going for as much as 15,000 naira per bag.
Fertilizer was selling between 8 to 12,000 in 2016, but when we started the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative, it was brought down to 5,500. That is the MPK, and this has been the trend for 3 years. This year, the President decided to reduce another 500, so we can sell fertilizer at 5,000 to the farmers, an ex-factory price of 4,500. This has been going on, but suddenly, like I've said the other day, we had problem with one of our key raw materials, that is urea, that is being supplied by Indorama out of Port Harcourt. First, there was closure of Port Harcourt completely. By the governors, we cannot access the factory to load fertilizer for the blending urea for the blending plants, and that delayed the supply. And secondly, when we managed to speak to the governor and he opens up, we experienced delay because of the checkpoints in entering into towns, because there were interstate lockdowns. But fertilizer is allowed to move, but because of the congestion in the road, it takes time to deliver. That slowed down production as well. And what hit us worst was COVID death at Indorama that leads to the closure of the factory for about 2 weeks, and to restart of 2 weeks, so we lost 30 days. And that has created additional delay in production.
We'll now shift focus to activities on the stock market after this break. Well, there was a surge in activities today at the NSE as more investors move away from the sideline to active trading, propelled by the recent cuts in the country's interest rate. Now, the volume of traded equities surged by over 100 million, coming in at 414 million. And as expected, the value also increased from the 4.39 billion posted in the previous trading session to 6.28 billion. Well, this uptrend we see in activities pushed key market indices up by 0.50%, with the all-share index closing the day at 25,783 basis points, and the market capitalization increasing by over 60 billion naira to close at 13.474 trillion naira. Now, this uptrend we see is propelled by Seplat, which is an oil and gas equity. Nigeria Breweries is coming in second place. It was also a good day for MTN, which led the pack of gainers yesterday, but is coming in the third position today. And Mobile tops the list of 4. On the flip side, we see Eternal PLC had a bad day, topping the pack of losers, depreciating by about 60 kobo. Botch Glass also had a bad day, and AfriPrud Investment as well as Nigeria Police Financial Microfinance Bank also had a bad day, closing with a pack of losers. But on the foreign scene, we see that the FTSE is rising as the country begins to impose new restrictions on COVID-19. Dow Jones is still falling just as it did yesterday, and Nikkei has now joined the list of fallers, this time falling by 0.5% after posting gains in the previous trading session. That's it from the world of business. It's back to Oyin.
Thank you for that update, Fidelia. Now to the foreign scene, Russian activist Alexei Navalny has been discharged from a Berlin hospital where he has been receiving treatment for Novichok nerve agent poisoning. The hospital said it was ending acute medical care after 32 days because his condition had sufficiently improved. The activist also posted a picture of himself standing unaided with a message saying doctors had given him every chance of a full recovery. Navalny collapsed on a flight in Siberia on 20th of August. His team alleges he was poisoned on the orders of President Vladimir Putin, an allegation Kremlin strongly denies. And in sports, for the first time in 10 years, football duo Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo have been left off in the final shortlist for the UEFA Men's Player of the Year award. The duo, who are in their 30s, have stood out as the best players of their generation for well over a decade and have picked up the award 5 times combined, with a total of 15 nominations to their names. Manchester City's Kevin De Bruyne and Bayern Munich's Robert Lewandowski and Manuel Neuer will now battle for the coveted prize. Well, with that, we've come to the end of News Now. Many thanks for watching.